and we're back. We're tasting more cheeses with Janice. Lovely, lovely Nova Scotia, Atlantic Canada cheeses and wines. So let's get right back into it. Yes, just drink.
Yeah, just drink.
I love this. This is a bit more off-dry, a little bit more sweetness than the Tidal Bays. We've got that light, as you say, frizzante, a little bit of fizz. And I'm really getting more of the sort of apricot blossom, or just a bit more of the sweetness that's lovely, but it's still balanced with the acidity and frizz, so you're not getting, it's not at all cloyingly sweet. In fact, I think this would be a good aperitif, and I think aperitif wines are often great with cheese.
They are indeed. Cheese is great anytime, though, really, and with many things.
Yes, and wine too. I'm here to speak up.
Yes, well, I guess what I should say, I should qualify that and say with many types of wine, that's really what I was thinking and not saying. But,
yeah, well, I love that. Yeah, for cheese and wine, especially if you don't want to cook a full course meal, but you want to entertain, there's no better way to go, especially if the tastes are so diverse and artisanal between the wine and the cheese. I think that's an easy way to entertain.
Truly. I mean, fortunately we get that in the store a lot. I mean, people just want to have friends over and some delicious wine and just play around. So it happens on a regular, actually probably daily basis.
That's great.
We support the idea. Yeah, and we even do the boards for people if they don't even want to have to unfurl the cheeses and put them out themselves. We do that for them. So we really make it easy.
You ship those boards to Ontario?
We, believe it or not, they have gone on planes. It's
really?
Interesting.
Oh.
Sometimes we just do a kit, and it's like, okay, here are all the bits, the nuts, the fruit, the dried fruit rather, not fresh, but cheeses, crackers, and here's how to assemble. We've done that too.
All
a
right.
little easier to ship than a platter.
Okay. Well, we'll be posting to your website.
We'll be talking.
Yeah, exactly. Well, how about this blue cheese? I have to warn you, I'm not a huge fan of blue, but this one looks very interesting. Now we're back with the Dutchman's blue cheese, which is the dragon's breath, and then you've suggested the Benedictine blue from Quebec for me.
Yes. One of our absolute favorites. I mean, it's such a great blue, and again, a cheese that I think as Canadians can be very proud of. I mean, the monks at the Abbaye Saint-Benoît du Lac in the Eastern Townships make that cheese, and they've been making cheese since 1943. They made this one, I believe it was in 1999, and immediately won significant awards for it. It's really excellent. It's quite different from the Dragon's Breath, which really there's nothing else like that I've ever had. But I would say that when it comes to strength, they operate on a similar level in terms of the strength of the blue cheese. Blue cheeses can be milder on one end and quite powerful on the other. So
I didn't know a blue cheese could be mild. I hadn't tasted one of those types.
There is one that's it's like the Bloomy Rhine family of cheeses, which Brie and Camembert reside in. There's one that's made in that style and inoculated with a little bit of blue, and it's if you like a soft creamy cheese and a little bit of blue, it's the bomb.
Wow, that sounds like a blue cheese with training wheels or whatever, starter blue.
Yeah, it is actually. We have turned many a person onto blue cheese through offering them bleu de Bresse.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah.
So here we are, though.
Yeah. Okay, let's taste the blue. It's pungent, eh? It's got lots of salt, lots of flavor, and wow, it really hits you. Yum. Sort of.
I've heard you say before that you're not a big blue cheese fan, but I'm dedicated to converting people, Natalie.
Okay.
I might be sending you some bleu de Bresse.
That's a noble mission, and I'm a torture test case because I'm one of those folks who has apparently too many taste buds. I've actually had my taste buds counted or whatever, measured on my tongue, and I'm a super taster, so really strong taste like blue cheese just like knock me out. I think I could acquire a taste though.
Well, we'll see what we can do.
Thank you. All right.
So you've got that great blue Benedictin, and I have Dragon's Breath from that Dutchman. Now I'm just going to lift this up so that our viewers can see. And are you able to see this, Nellie?
I can see it.
This cheese, and the lid is here. I've taken the lid off, but the cheese is inside. So he makes this blue cheese, and then he enrobes it in black wax, and that prevents any air from getting in. And even though he's added Penicillium roqueforti to the milk when he's making the cheese, because there's no access for the air to get to the cheese, because of the impermeability of the wax, the cheese inside has no bluing. So it's the color of milk. It's a beautiful creamy pale yellow color, and there's no bluing. But no one would doubt that it's a blue cheese when you taste it.
Wow, that's a different process, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. I mean, people. This is what a provincially licensed cheese. So it's really not available outside of the province. For sale, but so many people have tried this cheese and love it. So I mean, weekly we get questioned in the shop about Dragon's Breath, and will we have it, and when could we get it, and people would just kill for it. Sometimes I think if I just had a few, I could have an auction. that's how it has a cult following.
The entrepreneur in you, but that's another reason to visit somewhere like the Annapolis Valley and just do like a wine and cheese sort of vacation. I mean, it's a beautiful part of the world, and then you've got both the cheeses and the wines there. I mean, that is just great.
No, it's fabulous. I can vouch for it. I'm here right now, although I did say to a friend recently, I'm here in the bliss vortex in Cape Breton, and I'm not moving off the island. Sorry, I'm not going to the mainland.
Bliss vortex.
Well, that's how it feels.
I love that.
Summer in Cape Breton doesn't get much better.
No, it doesn't. Okay. Would you carry Nova 7?
Yes. I tried the Nova 7 with the Dragon's Breath, and I was surprised at how well it held up. Sometimes, big, powerful cheeses can really knock the socks off a wine. This one really surprisingly held up. I mean, what I felt was that the very floral, there's stone fruit in the Nova 7. There's great stone fruit. It's tropical. It's got that sweetness, which is a perfect foil for a blue cheese. I mean, that's a classic pairing. It's like, Stilton and port, but a sweet wine and a blue cheese they're made for each other. So because of the acidity, I mean, that's a very important element as well with a blue cheese like this one. So I think that the stone fruit, the sort of tropical nature, the sweetness, it stood up so well. I was very impressed.
It does. It works very well. And I wouldn't have thought about this pairing either, because this is such a light, beautiful wine that I would think of, as I said, for an aperitif. But it does work. It's got that off-dry, the acidity. It actually holds its own.
Well, and even, we both agreed it's light, it's refreshing, it's light. And that was my concern. I thought I often think weight when I pair, and this is not a weighty wine in the way that this is a weighty cheese. So I thought, it might just knock it over and really just, sort of gallop over the top of it. And it didn't at all. So very pleasantly surprised. Good work, Benjamin 7. Pardon me, Nova 7 from Benjamin Fridge.
Absolutely. And, I'm reading the back of the bottle, and it only has 6.5% alcohol. Most wines are, these days 13%. Port, which we think of traditionally for blue cheese, clocks in at about 20%. So that is pretty amazing that they've packed enough flavor into this with 6.5% alcohol to stand up to blue cheese.
Yeah, a great summer sipping wine, not high alcohol, and clearly a great one with cheese. I'm excited to try it with the last cheese that I have, which you have a counterpoint of. But that was kind of...
Okay, yeah, absolutely. Let's go for it.
Okay.
Which one's that? Yes.
So I've been saying to lots of my friends here and family, I think I've just discovered my new favorite cheese in the last 3 days. I went to the farmer's market in Bedeque to score this one, and there's a gentleman who, his company is called Wandering Shepherd, and he started making cheese just last fall. He became provincially licensed, and he's making predominantly used sheep milk cheeses, and I am absolutely blown away by the quality of his cheese. It's made, it's patterned after the sheep milk cheeses from the Pyrenees in the Basque region in the south of France. And he was telling me when I was chatting with him at the market that he, at the age of 20 or 21, had done some chef's training here and then moved to France and really got his papers there and spent 15, or pardon me, not just France, Europe. He spent 15 years working as a chef in a number of countries, and I think had quite an interest in cheese. So did some serious work with some cheesemakers along the way, and it's showing. I mean, for someone to produce this quality of cheese at such an early point in his cheese making career is impressive. So, as I said, it's like if any of our viewers, if you have had a cheese from that region called Osso Irati or Ossau Irati, depending on whether you're more Basque or more French. So that's what he was aiming for, and a fine job he did in producing a very, very similar replica of that cheese. Sheep cheeses in general, I mean, they may be my favorite milk varietal for when it comes to cheese, and this one the texture is it's somewhat crumbly, but it's got a beautiful natural rind development, and I think there's a combination of olive and kind of butterscotch, which sounds kind of strange, but there's a kind of an olivey oiliness. It's not oily cheese, but there's a richness, and that's partly because of the nature of sheep's milk. There's a richness to this cheese, but it's got that sort of, there's a butterscotch, very gentle butterscotchy kind of undertone. It's got gentle tang. I mean, I would love to try this again in about 3 months, this particular one. This one is 6 months old, and also raw milk, so he's making unpasteurized cheeses here. But I think it bodes well for us having a really fabulous cheese maker from Cape Breton, which some people consider a separate province anyway.
Yes, unite. No, I spent my childhood summers in Bedeque. My mom's from Bedeque.
Well, it's such a beautiful place on the Bredor Lakes.
Good people.
Yes,
absolutely. Now, which wine would you pair this with?
Well, I actually think now that, I mean, after that, what happened with the Dragon's Breath and the Nova 7, I'm going back to the Nova 7.
Okay. So am I. I'm going back right to the bottle. Okay, let's give that a try. Oh, so pretty.
So what happens with this one is it really, really accentuates the apricot. It really pulls it forward. In fact, I can still taste apricot in my mouth. So very interesting. I mean, you never know until you have wine and cheese in your mouth together what's going to happen. And on that note, it's just a small little piece of advice for our viewers, but I really believe that if you really want to taste things, fully and how they're working as a team, you have to have them in your mouth together. I'm not one to, take something in my mouth, chew it, swallow it, and then take, the wine to follow. I think you kind of reduce it down to a 2D experience then. I think, having both in your mouth at the same time really makes a difference.
That's a great tip. Absolutely.
Well, I mean, it's my opinion. Others share it. There are some who might argue, but I just I like to suggest that to people.
I won't argue.
So you are tasting. What cheese are you having right now?
I'm going around to all the cheeses again. I'm pretty much finishing off the plate
Revisiting
here.
Everybody.
Yeah, just to be thorough.
Yes, good. Well, it's research. You have to. There's a lot of combinations and permutations you're dealing with there. You've got a few more going on than I do.
Whoa, Janice, this has been great. Oh my goodness, I could talk all day with you about cheese and wine. And on that note, let's get together again when you're back home in Calgary, and why don't we taste West Coast cheeses and wines?
I would love that. There's some great offerings from that part of the world, so that would make me happy.
Oh, great. Excellent. Yeah. All right, cheers to you, Janice.
Yeah, thank you, Natalie. It was truly lots of fun to be here with you today.
All right, take care.